Welcome, everybody. My name is Vanessa, and we are here at the Rekla Learning Studios to do our micro training session. So this won't take too long. Not a lot of time out of your day, but we are going to talk about today something that's probably very familiar to teachers. It's a rather common practice: think, pair, share. But I want to talk about this because oftentimes think, pair, share is either not done correctly or it's just misunderstood. When it doesn't work, teachers will say, oh, I tried think, pair, share, but it didn't really change anything. The students didn't really get it. It's not because the students weren't talking too much or they didn't understand the concepts. It's because they didn't have time to think first. So the whole structure, the foundation of this particular activity is thinking, which is connected to many of our sessions where I've talked about reflection, because reflection is what connects those dots, right? That's where the light bulbs go on in the students' heads. And the only way that can happen is through thinking. So thinking, this is a thinking routine before it's a speaking routine. So we're not wanting them to get to the end where they're sharing. We want to spend more time at the beginning where they're thinking. Students are given space to think, organize their ideas, their thoughts, and they can do this in a variety of ways, right? You can give them paper to write down. They can draw. They can audio record their thoughts, just, any thought that comes to them. Giving them the freedom, the autonomy to just simply think about the concept that they're learning or you're working with them on, and help them to build confidence before sharing with others. The goal isn't speed or quantity of information that they can remember. It's clarity and understanding. This is where we want to hear the process. We want to hear them connecting the dots in the lessons, in the topics. So what is it that students do? Well, first, students think. They can think quietly. So this can be just a quiet moment in the classroom. And like I said, you can give them tools. You can give them an iPad or something where they can take notes. You can give them paper if you don't have access to devices. You can give them art supplies. You can give them audio recordings. They can use their cell phones, whatever it is you have available, and just give them time to think. Then this is pretty important. This is where we really need to know our students. We're going to pair them with a classmate to really see how they can express themselves. This is a very important part for the teachers. This is where the teachers are really going to be listening for the reflection, for the process, for the learning points. And then let's move into what the teachers are looking for. So as students talk, teachers need to listen for patterns. We're not looking for perfect answers. We're not looking to find out if they can get to the end of the process, whether it's math or science or whatever. What we want is for them to be able to express and share the process. You're listening for reasoning, for vocabulary usage, shared confusions, so across, if a lot of students are saying the same thing, and growing confidence. And one of the ways that you can do this when you're listening for reasoning or vocabulary is to remember on the board, putting our learning outcomes, right? From the beginning of the lesson, we want the students learning these things. This is what I want you guys to know by the end of today. So as you're reflecting, as you're thinking, as you're processing, look up at the board and decide, did I learn what the teacher needs me to learn today, right? List the vocabulary, have them use those words if they can. So think, pair, share becomes a form of micro-assessment for teachers. This is another way for you to find out what they've learned without handing out a worksheet, without giving them a quiz, without making more work for you with grading and assessment. This is an assessment that you can do that's short, it's easy, and it gives you the information that you need to find out if the students are learning what they need. So it's a micro assessment that helps you to see where the class is together as a whole and who is struggling to understand the concepts and which concepts those are. So what do we do with this information? How do we plan for tomorrow? So what you hear during these conversations guides tomorrow's lesson, right? You might slow down the pace. You might need to reteach one of the key ideas. Maybe you need to regroup students. So if there are a handful of students that really got it, tomorrow's lesson might be a bit repetitive for them and they might not be overly interested. So those are the students that you will pair with the ones that are struggling so that they can support, giving them student agency and autonomy in the classroom, giving them responsibility for their learning, and asking them to support the community in the classroom with the students who are struggling. You can also use that information that you gather from listening to do warm-ups tomorrow, just short, quick warm-ups to make sure they've understood the concept, reinforcing. You can use it during circle time integration discussions, that kind of thing. So the next lesson is already planned and inside today's conversations. So Think, Pair, Share isn't about getting students to talk more. It is about helping them think better. I think a lot of teachers think of this as think, pair, share, right? And they really want to get to that share part. And my recommendation and my suggestion is to step back from the share. That's not the most important part. It's the thinking. That's the most important part. When students own their thinking, the learning deepens and it gives teachers the plan for tomorrow, which makes work a little bit lighter for everyone. So that's my micro training session for today. I hope you enjoyed it. Let me know in the comments if there's anything you would like me to focus on for a micro training that you're curious about, want to know the Finnish perspective from, and I'll be glad to do that. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll see you next time for our micro training session.